Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find out the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? I bet you can't guess what brand it's from. Yeah, anyways, it's a MontBlanc ink, but I don't have it in a bottle, but when you get it in a bottle, it looks like this. And I don't have it in a box, but when you get it in a box, it looks like this. Except, you know, red. Because today's ink is MontBlanc Burgundy. Now, I have been given so much of this ink. It is ridiculous, and I'm not a big fan of it, so it's, it just sits there, mostly. Which is why I don't have it in a box or anything anymore, because I've put it away somewhere, because I never use it. Personal problems aside, as you can see in the chromatography, there's really not a lot of water resistance. There's something there, but most of it just flees. There's some like slatiness and some lavenderiness and some pink. But when I think of burgundy, I think of a dark, rich, deep red, like a maroon. We don't really get that here. Now, all the tests were done in this JinHao X450, where the nib is fairly broad and the pen tends to be fairly wet. And I did that on purpose because this ink doesn't look great unless you lay it on pretty thick. So I'm going to take you back to very early paper tests of mine, long before I started doing videos, where I put this red in a Nox Aristotle in extra fine, and then a Nox Galileo in fine, a Nox Plato in medium, a Nox Avicenna in broad, and a Lamy Safari with a 1.1 stub. That does not look like burgundy to me. It's not there. Even where it's laid on pretty thick, that doesn't look like burgundy to me. So, let's check out the official paper test. Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. Now again, I picked a wet, broad nib on purpose because you kind of need it, and even still, it looks really watery. I mean, you get shading, but because it looks really watery. Took 21 seconds to dry, which, you know, makes sense. It's a broader nib, it's a wetter nib, and this is Clairefontaine. But still, water test is extremely patchy. Most of it is unreadable. It dyed the paper a bit. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. Where again, this is a very light color. This is pink. This isn't really burgundy. And again, you get very intense shading, but because it looks so watery. So, 21 seconds to dry. Yeah, again, the water test is mostly gone, and it's very patchy, and it dyed the paper a bit. Okay, that was me. I was trying to lay it on really thick to get it dark, and it still only got to dark pink. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where again, it looks really light. And you kind of get a halo effect, but it looks so watery here. Yeah, 21 seconds to dry. Really not a fan. But water test, again, patchy, mostly gone. Echo is significant, despite it being a fairly light ink. Now, of course, this is where things get troublesome. 20-pound copier paper. How does it still look watery on this absorbent paper? And 4.5 seconds to dry. And the spread was significant. The lines look much broader. And you don't really get shading, because where you do, that's where you get the most spread and feathering. The water test is a mess. Granted, there's more there, but even that dark stuff at the middle is explodey. Next is Mead Notebook Paper, where it still looks kind of like a watery pink. So, yeah. There was bleed and feather and spread and essentially no real shading, and that water test absolutely exploded. It's patchy. And yeah. And lastly is Moleskine paper, where there was a predictable amount of badness because it's Moleskine and it was a broad wet nib. But still, somehow it still manages to look like a watery pink. 6 seconds to dry. Definitely got spread. You kind of get some shading, but that's also where you get the feathering and the exploding. So, yeah, bad water test. Worst we've seen so far. Bad bleeding. Yeah, so there you go. There's MontBlanc's Burgundy. For your consideration from the Triple N Network. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.